Then on Sports Central, we go for a college football game preview and prediction on the Week 0 matchup between the Wyoming Cowboys and the Illinois Fighting Illini. Big matchup for both these teams coming up here in Week 0. Both teams coming off of decent seasons in 2021. Wyoming got up to 7 wins and Illinois got up to 5. Obviously, both teams trying to improve that going into 2022. And it starts right here in Week 0. We'll be going over a full game preview and prediction on this matchup here today. Games will be on Saturday, August 27th in Champaign. So Fighting Illini are the home team for this matchup. And your kickoff is 3 p.m. Central. Spread's going Illinois here by 10. So, the Fighting Illini, despite being a 5-7 team last season, they're a decent favorite in this matchup. 10 points there. And, you got to consider, too, Wyoming, they had a better record last season in comparison to Illinois. But also the conferences make a big difference. I think both teams last season, were pretty even skill-wise. When you consider Illinois in the Big Ten, one of the toughest conferences in football, Wyoming's in the Mountain West, which is obviously a Group of 5 conference that tends to be. They're a decent conference in the Group of 5, but nothing too outstanding. I'd say both teams are very much on an even playing field going into this season. The FBI, once again, though, is saying Illinois here 75%. That is definitely a heavy favorite towards Illinois, over under 44. And it's also the first matchup in these two teams' histories. Here's your stat comparison for this matchup. These are your stats out of 2021, and these are out of 130 of the FBS teams. So out of all 130 FBS programs, this is where these two teams land. And Wyoming last season was 85th in points per game, 43rd in points allowed. So defensively, according to stats, they were slightly better. Pass yards a game, 85th. Rush yards a game, 20th. So the backfield was pretty good for Wyoming that last season. Pass yards allowed, 12th, and rush yards allowed, 98th. So looks like the pass defense last season was definitely much better than the rush defense and the D-line for Wyoming last season. If you look at Illinois here, points per game, 115th. So this was an offense that really struggled at many points last season, especially in the passing game. 121st in pass yards a game last season, which is definitely not very good. They were 55th in rush yards a game, and then for points allowed, not bad in the top 30 at 29th, and your yards allowed, 43rd in passing, 63rd in rushing. So it's no secret that the defenses for both these teams were their strengths last season. Offensively, both teams weren't very good, and obviously things are different. This is a whole new season. 2022 is going to be different, but these are just your stats looking back at 2021 and kind of seeing where both teams are skill-wise going into 2022 here. Some key points for this matchup. Wyoming 7-6 last year. They were strong in the rushing game last year. I expect that to be consistent in 2022 as well. That is going to be the main way that Wyoming is able to put points up on the board is in the backfield in the rushing game. So for Illinois in this matchup, defensively, they got to really, on the D-line, they got to play well, and they got to stop the run. And I feel like Illinois has got a chance if they can do that here. Defensively, Wyoming was strong last season, but so was Illinois as well. You got to consider both teams were strong defensively, more so than on the offensive side of the ball. And even though Wyoming has lost a few players, they still got, I'd say, some potential to make a run at 7 wins plus yet again next season. If you look at Illinois here, Tommy DeVito looks to start the transfer quarterback from Syracuse. He started with Syracuse for a little while, and he is now in Illinois after Brandon Peters. And Brandon Peters obviously is, I think it's honestly a good thing for him to be gone. He's been around for a little while with Illinois, and he hasn't had too much success. He's a talented quarterback, but in the end, if Illinois wants to get to a bowl game anytime in the future, you gotta move forward with the quarterback position. And even though Tommy DeVito, he's got a low ceiling. I don't really see Tommy DeVito being a guy where he could come out and surprise everyone and have a great season. He can do that, but I just think at his point in his career, Tommy DeVito's played a decent amount of time. It's pretty unlikely that he breaks through and has a massive season, but I definitely think he shows some potential and could definitely lead the Illini to a bowl game this upcoming season here. 6 to 8 wins. I'd say 6 to 7 wins is very much within reach for Illinois going into this season. Defensively, they were strong in 2021, and they look to improve in 2022 here. Returning production is fairly decent for the Illini, and the defensive are on the defensive side of the ball. So there is some optimism there. But that said, let's get to the prediction here for Wyoming and Illinois. One of the matchups. With that said, let's get to the prediction here. But that said, let's get to the prediction here for Wyoming and Illinois. I'm going to go with Illinois here. 21-17 is my predicted final score. So I'm saying a low-scoring, defensive, slow match between these two teams. Once again, both teams on the defensive side of the ball were the strongest last season, and I expect that to be a common theme in this game as well. Both defenses kind of controlled this game, and it's going to be a lower-scoring one for sure, I think. I wouldn't be surprised to see like a 7-0 or like a 7-3 halftime score with Illinois leading. I think it's going to be a slow start, a slow game, and in the end, Fighting Illini get the win, 21-17, but it's going to be a close matchup. And in the end, I do expect Wyoming to cover the 10-point spread. I think the 10-point spread, it is pretty easy to bet on Wyoming to win that spread there, which is 10 points towards Illinois. I just totally feel like this is going to be a lower scoring matchup. I'm taking the under for this matchup. The over-under is at 44, and so it's pretty bold to predict Illinois by 10 in the spread. So I'm definitely going to be taking Wyoming to cover there, and also the under for this matchup, even though I'm not quite as confident on the over-under for this game. But your probability, Illinois 55%. So I do think Wyoming stands a chance here, and they've got a very good chance to win this game, I think. But in the end, Illinois, I'd say, is simply the better team here. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this matchup, and I appreciate you guys watching as always. Stay tuned for more from All Sports Central. Catch you on the next one.